December 21st. This is our day. The following may sound vaguely familiar to some of you, and that is because it is a combination of two articles published in the December 2000 UU Update, one written by Bob Salmi, who was the fellowship president at the time, and the other was an editorial written by our own Helene Di Iulio. Why do UUs celebrate Christmas? I have been asked, and I presume that you have too, why Unitarian Universalists observe Christmas when we don't believe in the Trinity. Well, some believe that in its present form, Christmas should be known as the Unitarian Universalist gift to the world. It is said that we rescued the celebration of Christmas from earlier extremes of smothering sectarian piety on the one hand, and purely secular excess on the other. Some say that Christmas as we know it would not have been possible without the intervention of some key Unitarians and Universalists. We gave Christmas a message that raised to public view the meaning of Jesus' life and of the social, ethical, moral strength that his life embodied. The historian Stephen Nissenbaum, in his book, The Battle for Christmas, helped put Christmas in an historical UU perspective. He claims that the Puritans refused to celebrate Christmas because of the way it had been previously celebrated. In Roman times, Christmas was a drunken, raucous orgy. In early America, the practice of wassailing was also highly alcoholic. During the holiday season, gangs of working class people would go to the homes of the wealthy and demand their best liquor and cookies. The Puritans were so against celebrating Christmas that they insisted that schools, businesses, and courts be open on Christmas Day, and any business that was closed was fined. So for a long time after this country was founded, Christmas was a non-event. It was up to the people of our UU heritage to bring Christmas to the front. What? Unitarians? Universalists? How can that be? The Universalist community in Boston held a special Christmas Day service in 1789. As Nissenbaum tells it, Unitarians were close behind those Universalists. Unitarians were calling for the public observance of Christmas by 1800. They did so with the knowledge that it was not a biblically sanctioned holiday and that December 25th was probably not the day that Jesus was born. They wished to celebrate not because God had ordered them to do so, but because they wished to. However, the initial attempt to get Christmas widely celebrated failed, and the businesses which had been persuaded to close opened again, and most of the churches went back to ignoring it. Meanwhile, in England, after reviewing the pagan and Roman origins of the December feast day and its rejection by Calvinist Protestants, a young Unitarian writer published in 1843 a short story about Christmas, into which he poured not only his craft, but some intimate experience from his personal life. That Unitarian writer was Charles Dickens, and his story was the timeless The Christmas Carol. Dickens' story enjoyed modest popularity at first, but eventually overshadowed everything else he had written, especially for Americans. At his public readings, it was the most requested selection. Many people wept as he read it to them. When it was learned that Dickens had died, one young boy reportedly asked his parents, "Is Mr. Dickens dead? Will Father Christmas die also?" Having grown up in poverty, Dickens was a bitter critic of entrenched wealth and power. Neither in the Anglican nor in the so-called non-conforming churches of his day could he find anything like a social conscience. Instead, he found smug, self-serving pieties and concern primarily for the salvation of the individual soul. Therefore, when he came to the Unitarian Essex Chapel in London, he found what he heard there refreshing. In time, he joined the chapel And according to his biographers, he remained a Unitarian for the rest of his life. Another Unitarian who transformed Christmas was Edmond Hamilton Sears, a minister who composed "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear," number 244, in Singing the Living Tradition, our hymnal. This 1848 hymn is now viewed as a major landmark in Christmas music because it was the first Christmas carol with a social ethical message. The expression "peace on earth, goodwill toward men" has become so commonplace, we assume that it was always part of the Christmas message. Not so. The hymn was such a radical departure from the standard Christmas message that it worried many Christian conservatives. Consider the third verse. "But with the woes of sin and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the angel strain have rolled 10,000 years of wrong. And man at war with man hears not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise, ye men of strife, and hear the angels sing." Many people said contemptuously that Sears' hymn was just the sort of thing you would expect from a Unitarian. But over the years, the establishment of peace on earth, goodwill to all men, became a vital part of the Christmas message. Today, it is probably the most important theme in our Christmas celebrations. It was and is just the kind of thing you would expect from a Unitarian. In 1864, another Unitarian, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, wrote "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day," number 240 in our hymnal, during the darkest hours of the Civil War. His verses reflect both sadness and hope. "And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth," I said, "for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men." Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. "God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men." There are other American Christmas traditions that owe their start to UUs. In 1832, Charles Follen, a Unitarian minister and professor of German at Harvard University, gave a party for friends featuring a large spruce tree decorated with paper ornaments and wax tapers. Although Hessian soldiers had practiced the custom during the Revolution, Follen's prominence made it acceptable to New Englanders. Some believe that Santa Claus was a tradition brought to New York by Dutch settlers. While there was a St. Nicholas Day, it was not associated with Christmas. Clement Clark Moore, a Unitarian journalist, really popularized Saint Nick, or Santa Claus, when he wrote The Night Before Christmas, a poem about a jolly elf visiting children and bringing gifts. Before long, Christmas became a holiday about giving gifts to children, not about drunken orgies in Rome. James Pierpont, a Universalist, wrote the song Jingle Bells as a reminiscence of childhood sleigh rides in Massachusetts, and Universalist James Russell Lowell wrote the carol, What Means This Glory Round Our Feet? A song that asserts our Unitarian and Universalist faith in each new birth, each new morning. So it has been for us UUs. We have been unwilling to accept a religious tradition whose cherished ideas do not have consequences for the lives of even the poorest among us. We have been unwilling to believe that peace can be merely a private or personal goal, unwilling to believe it cannot be a condition among all people of whatever nation, race, or religion. We can feel free to celebrate Christmas even though we are not really members of the Christian Christmas Club. This is our day. We can celebrate the birth of an infant who grew up to give some very worthwhile teachings for all mankind. Christmas in its best form is an expression of the Unitarian Universalist affirmation that life offers us hope and gives us reason to believe that a better world is possible. May it be so.